doing all of that makes it sound like I'm actually going to continue the story. I'm not. I really can't until I get a Steam Deck. Also, that guitar riff took 6 takes to actually do, and it still sounds like crap. Roll the opening. It's that time of year. The air is cold, school's out. I'm reminded that my voice actually is good if I listen to anything other than metal. And Ninja Gaiden 4 got freaking... This is a magazine. Again, I'm not disappointed that I got Ghost of Yotei instead. I'm just thinking, the fact that I got that means that Ninja Gaiden 4 is probably going to be the big thing for Christmas. And I'm not going to get the Steam Deck. Because, the way I figured out that it works is that if I get the #1 game that I wanted on my birthday, I'm going to get a huge thing on Christmas. Like last year when I got Shadow Generations and Stellar Blade, Christmas present, that guitar. Speaking of the guitar, I was planning on doing a thing where I would play a whole bunch of songs on that during the thing. For one thing, you just heard how enjoyable it is to hear me play that. For another, this string here is broken. Alright, let's start. Alright, so the waiting room has really generic techno music. And it doesn't even loop properly. We are off to a great start. Alright, let's start the real ceremony. First up, the pre-show. Sydney Goodman is telling us exactly what we should expect. World premieres of games that we already know about.
World premieres like Resident Evil Requiem.
But really, we are getting actual world premieres. First up, Free Shepherd, a game where you play as a wolf and you herd sheep. Emma, I think I've found your Christmas present. Never mind. And now for the real awards. First up, Best Family Game. Now, I haven't played any of these, but I played the demos for Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Kart World, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. And of those 3, I think I'm going to give it to Cross Worlds. But I went to Bonanza. And back to the announcements. First up, an indie game by...
A hardcore Souls fan.
Oh, God, no. Oh god, no. First person Souls-like, please. No. And here's a game, Audio Mech, made by the same guy who made Audio Surf. And like Audio Surf, you actually import your music into it, and it creates a level based on it. One issue, though. It looks like Vampire Survivors. And I'm not a fan of Vampire Survivors. I'm more of a purist when it comes to bullet hell. In other words, I'm a miserable sack of crap who takes joy in making everything worse for everyone else. Next up is innovation and accessibility. No, we are not doing this again. 3 esports awards. It's all great to me. Pragmata. Last time this was shown back in a state of play, I had been starting to warm up to the idea that maybe lolicons aren't pedophiles, and then I saw a whole bunch of people on Twitter saying they wanted to smash this. What the hell? Best mobile game. I haven't played any of these. Somehow, some way, the winner was the horse betting one. Solasta 2, a sequel to a game I've never heard of, and looking it up on Wikipedia, it's a turn-based strategy game. If you're not Disgaea, get out. Here's Tankrat, a game where you play as a tank. Honestly, I don't know what to make of this, because for the first few minutes I thought it was World of Tanks. Next up is the award for Best Indie Game, and finally, a game I've actually played. I pirated Hollow Knight Silksong, played it for an hour, and decided I'm not playing any more of this. I'm going to actually buy it when the physical copies come out. So that's my answer. But it instead went to Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which is a turn-based RPG. And I often talk about how I don't like turn-based RPGs, but I never actually go into detail about that, so how about we do that now? I aced public speaking this semester. I know how to do these things, and I know that putting the least significant stuff first is how you do it. I have a very low attention span. I'm not gonna say it's ADD because I've never been tested for that, but I cannot focus on anything. 9 times out of 10, I've got YouTube on my TV, and I've got Twitter on my phone at the same time, and I'm barely paying attention to either. One of the things that I like about video games is that they demand your attention, and because of that, you get more immersed in them. You take away the activeness from it, and it just basically gets relegated to that second screen. That's fine for old roguelikes like NetHack or Angband, where it's pretty much just meant to be a little side thing with no audio, no story, no nothing. But turn-based RPGs typically have thick, meaty stories, and if you're not paying attention to that, if you're not getting immersed in that, what's the point? When you play a turn-based RPG, You're not controlling your characters, you're commanding them. You are not Furion, you are not Maria, you are not Guy. You are an invisible force waving a baton at your characters so that they'll attack the things. I remember Yahtzee comparing people who like RTSs to spineless cowards who are content just watching the war from afar using a space telescope. I feel the same way about anything turn-based. You gain no victories. You gain no experience. Everything obtained throughout the adventure goes to your squad. You are nothing. When you're getting kicked in the behind, you don't beat your chest screaming, "I got it this time." You go back and you wipe out the entire slime population. Because you can't do anything about it. It's all down to the little ones and zeros that you command. Their strength, their abilities, their skill. That's what determines the outcome of the fight. You are little more than a spectator. Does that sound fun? Ever since the days of Pac-Man and Space Invaders, there have been 3 core points to good game design. Easy to learn, hard to master. Fast, fluid, punchy. High-level play is a spectacle. These core points are the key to good, fun game design that will make your games last an eternity. And turn-based combat fails all 3. There is no spectacle in cycling through menus. 90% of the game is based on waiting for things to happen. Mastery of the game only takes one glance at a walkthrough, and don't act like you're too good to use a walkthrough. If you can't manage a single one of those 3 core points, can you even be considered a video game at all? Or are you just busy work?
And that is why turn-based RPGs suck, and why they have absolutely no place in society now that we have good action RPGs. If you disagree with me, just keep in mind that Kojima said that I knew my stuff. Andrew Kojima from GameFAQs. When I said that Final Fantasy Adventure was better than all the 2D top-down Zeldas, but the point is, he also agreed that turn-based sucks.
Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has a real-time dodge and parry mechanic.
Oh. Well then I guess next time we'll have to make a thing on why Souls-likes suck.
Alright, back to the show. Here we've got Bradley the Badger. It looks pretty neat. It's a 3D platformer that parodies a whole bunch of different games, and it's also got this development tool mechanic that'll no doubt be its main selling point. One problem. I have seen a whole bunch of games that include things along the lines of development tool mechanics, and they are always woefully restricted to just a few separate types of situations.
It comes from Day for Night, a new studio from the lead designer of Red Dead Redemption.
New indie studios aren't interesting if they're being founded by people who are already big shots. And speaking of indie games from AAA developers, here's Stupid Never Dies. It's a punk rock zombie love story. Oh wait, it's an action RPG. But it looks like symmetric. Nope, there's camera control. I swear to God, if the punk rock zombie love story game is the thing that saves the industry. Best adaptation, Until Dawn. The answer is Until Dawn. I haven't seen Minecraft or Splinter Cell. The answer is Until Dawn. Devil May Cry was great as a show. It had plenty of action and plenty of humor, but the problem is it played havoc with the series' lore. They made the demons the good guys. The entire point is that Sparta was the only good demon. You don't do that! And not only are the demons the good guys, but Adi Shankar took this opportunity to turn Devil May Cry into an allegory for the Iraq War from the early 2000s before I was even a thing. The demons are Muslims. It was so ridiculous that it convinced me to watch Freerun, and that show was boring as hell. And the soundtrack. You may think that I'd be really into the soundtrack because it uses a whole lot of licensed metal, but that's the thing. New. And I'm not one of those people who says that new metal isn't real metal. I save that kind of file for metalcore and Sleep Token. No, I hate new metal because 90% of it is rap. The opening is Limp Freaking Bizkit. And they only used 3 tracks of the actual game, and 2 of them were from 5. You don't get Lock and Load, you don't get Taste the Blood, you don't get Blackened Angel, you don't get Shall Never Surrender, you don't even get Subhuman, because Papa Roach came a-knocking and he wanted his money. Now, if only there was an album that actually sounded like it was Devil May Cry music, and fits the time period, and fits the random atheist garbage. Nope, can't think of anything. Now, with The Last of Us, it has the exact opposite problem. It's a faithful retelling of The Last of Us 2. A faithful retelling of The Last of Us 2.
Oh, just what this town needs. Another loudmouth.
So yeah, it's not gonna be that either.
The Last of Us Season 2!
Oh wait, right, Jeff Keighley. And now we're finally at the real Game Awards. First up...
Arrête de
Man, my eyes are watering. What game is this?
Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33.
Of course it is. Alright, first up, we've got these two guys, a father and son who apparently did some VA work for that superhero dating sim that everyone kept talking about. They're here to present the only award that matters, Best Action Game. We've got 5 games that I haven't played, and I'm giving it to Ninja Gaiden 4, because while I haven't played it, I have played Devil May Cry, Devil May Cry 2, Devil May Cry 3, Devil May Cry 4, Devil May Cry 5, Bayonetta, Bayonetta 2, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, God of War 2, Scarlet Nexus, Nier Replicant, Nier Automata, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance, Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep or Fragmentary Passage, Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and Ninja Gaiden 2.
The winner is Hades 2.
So not only did you give the award to a roguelike over a finely crafted game, but you're saying that Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is better than every action game released this year. You know, a new Star Wars game would sound really good about 10 years ago before Kathleen Kennedy happened. Oh, and it's Muppet time. This time we got Miss Piggy up on stage.
Oh, you know I would never turn down an invitation from you. Not after Bora Bora.
You screwed the pig? Hey, do you remember this statue? It's for a turn-based RPG. Don't get me wrong, the trailer looks amazing. If this was like for, say, an animated dark fantasy movie, I'd be all in on it. It's being developed by Larry.
Baldur's Gate.
Alright, back to the awards. Now we've got these two.
For the record, Neil said that he was wearing the dress this year.
Oh, he totally should've. They did a little Abbott and Costello type skit to announce the award for Best Liar. Yep, that was the skit they did. Out of all these games, the only one that I've played is Ghost of Yotei, and I played it with the Japanese dub, so I can't really comment on anything except Clair Obscur Expedition 33 got 3 nominations for this. And guess which game won?
Jennifer English!
In fact, let's go ahead and start a count over how many awards Clair Obscur wins.
Thank you to my beautiful girlfriend.
Another loudmouth.
Here's a game called For Loop. It reminds me a lot of the similarly titled Death Loop, but instead of being in an actually interesting setting where you play as a man who's been wanted for so many crimes that killing him is actually a TV broadcast sport, no, it's just aliens. Just aliens.
Up next, we have a new game announcement from some of the developers who helped put The Last of Us and Uncharted into our hands. This new small independent studio.
Is this a bit? And this new small indie game from the developers of The Last of Us? It's The Last Guardian, but you play as the girl from Howl's Moving Castle. Here we have Ontos, a first-person sci-fi mystery horror game made by the guys behind Clair Obscur Expedition 33! Scratch that, it was actually developed by Samfall, Kepler was just the publisher. And here's a trailer for, I'm guessing, more content drops for Zenless Zone Zero, because nothing sounds quite as good as a casino game with a bunch of anime boobs, huh? I'm never gonna do it, am I? I'm never gonna be able to break my porn addiction. I am going to drown in my own semen because I have no control over myself, and I can't stop touching myself looking at Futanari hentai. Just kill me already.
Boobies are evil. We mustn't look at boobies.
Anyway, here's Games for Impact. It's also known as... Why did I think it was a good idea to actually chew on the microphone? The winner was South of Midnight.
The world that would feel as warm and as rich as the South.
Alright, I'm from Bama and my family's from Tennessee and I ain't never seen no Wendigos. Update? Alright, so now we got the world premiere of Resident Evil Requiem from Summer Games Fest. And turns out we are getting Leon. But what about Alice? I want to see Alice. From the developer of Braved, we have this giant puzzle game called Order of the Sinking Star. You had me at puzzle. And you want to know what else is a puzzle game? Tetris, the Grandmaster 4, the Absolute Eye. Yeah, I decided that I'm going to mention every game that I've played enough to rank during the show, because here's how many new games I played this year. And here's how many that I've actually played enough to rank. And we're not counting Deltarune because it's not done yet. This year saw many sequels that we never thought we would ever get. Metroid Prime 4, Ninja Gaiden 4, Hollow Knight 2, and even outside of video games, you had Final Destination 6 and the Proto Man Act 3. But this is the one that shocked me the most. Now what is it? Well, it's Tetris. But it gets stupid fast, stupid quick. Every single piece you drop increases the level, and by level 500, if you can even get there, the pieces drop immediately. I can't. I keep forgetting which button rotates which piece, which direction. So here's the footage of the dedicated 20G mode. But if you don't want something so fast, if you want to just chill out and lay back while playing Tetris, there's always Konoha mode. You got giant pieces and anime girls. with big boobs. Here we have more footage of Exodus. I remember literally nothing from this, which should tell you a lot. But looking over it again, there is a whole lot of explosions in this trailer. Yeah, so that does tell you a lot about my mental state when watching this. How could I have forgotten all of this? And then this lady comes up on stage to announce a new game from Wizards of the Coast where, guys, Tool. They used Tool in the trailer, my favorite band, Tool. Between Alien Earth using Stinkfist and this using 46 and 2, I have got to say, they're taking the worst songs off of Anima. You've got H, you got Jimmy, you got Push It, you got Third Eye, you got the title track, you got Message from Harry Manback. And like, why does it even have to be Anima? I get that they probably still keep Fear Inoculum under lock and key, but Undertow and 10,000 Days are so much better, in my opinion, and everyone else prefers Lateralus. And not to mention, you bring out the best band of all time, and then you see the D&D logo, which tells me, yep, it's turn-based. And now here's something that I would normally pass over, just assuming that it was just an ad spot, but Jeff Keighley himself mentioned it, so I have to go over the 3 singles that are being added to Spotify. This re-recording of I Really Want to Stay at Your House, I have got to rewatch Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I mean, it's my favorite anime. I've only seen it twice. Labyrinth. You know, there's a why in Labyrinth. For why does this level exist? A new recording for Afterlife. You know, I didn't mention it when I was talking about the show, but I've got to give credit to this song. It's actually really good and probably the closest we're ever going to get to video game music being played on the actual radio. Alright, next reveal. We got this guy in a box while a whole bunch of psychedelic stuff happens around him. And then we cut to a cutscene where, oh wait, actually before we do that, I've got appearances to keep up, so I'm the man in the box. Alright, now that's out of the way, pigeons. And unlike most psychedelic reveal trailers, this one actually has gameplay, and the gameplay actually looks good. It's Control. I have heard very conflicting things about the first Control. I might have to check it out. Anyway, here's a new Yakuza game that's not a Yakuza game because it's not made by the Yakuza guys. You are really stretching that acronym right there, aren't you? We're getting a new Street Fighter movie. It looks like a marked improvement, over the one featuring Jean-Claude Van Damme that I've never seen. The downside to video game movies being more respected, everyone looks like a cosplayer. And the cast for the movie gets to announce the award for Best Ongoing Game, Naraka Blade Point. The answer is Naraka Blade Point. It wasn't nominated, the answer is Naraka Blade Point.
No Man's Sky!
Really? No Man's Sky? Last time I thought about that game was when I was in another Jeff Keighley thing a couple of months ago. After another ad break, we get a panel on No Man's Sky. Remember the last time you heard about No Man's Sky? Yeah, it was when I was saying that nobody talks about No Man's Sky, which is when it was ported to the Switch, like, months ago.
After that is No Man's Sky. Remember when everyone hated that game? And then it got updated and everyone stopped talking about it because there was nothing to talk about?
Next up, Lego Batman. I don't think a Lego game is big enough to be announced here. Best audio design, let me stinking guess. Oh, thank God. Except that's an FPS. Content Creator of the Year. I don't know any of these. I only watched Scott the Wasp, but I see the Burnt Peanut, and I remember how many anime jihadists were screaming and crapping themselves over his mere existence. The winner was Moist Critical. 2 compilations and a remaster in the running for Best Fighting Game. Imagine if one of those won. Imagine if we all went.
And the winner for Game of the Year 2025 is... Lag!
But I went to Fatal Fury. Most anticipated game. I wasn't gonna make the same mistake that I made last year. I knew for a fact there was gonna be a GTA 6, and would you look at that, it was. Next up, we've got the Game Changer Award, also known as DEI Award number 3. It's going into an initiative called Girls Make Games, where they take a bunch of young girls and teach them how to make games. I had a whole bunch of jokes lined up, but they're all minors, so they're all forbidden. Now, I've got no problem with more women, real women, getting into the video game industry. I can talk your ears off about the works of Yoko Shimomura, and Empress is one of the only 2 people who were able to crack a Nuvo. Gosh darn it. But when it comes to chicks of the development field, I've only seen them take 2 routes. Roberta Williams and Satan. New Tomb Raider. 2 new Tomb Raiders. And Twitter is already up in arms trying to figure out whether Lara Croft is too sexy or not sexy enough. Boris 3. You know what? I never actually started that counter, did I? Honestly, I'm shocked it took this long to actually get here. Now, at this point, I actually walked out of the room so that I could do prayer with my family, so I had to skip out on Invincible Versus and Orbitals. so I've got nothing to say about them. Best action-adventure game goes to Hollow Knight Silksong. Now, I don't really have a problem with this, except for the fact that means all of these games are worse than Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33! Speaking of which, best art direction.
Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33.
Best sim strategy goes to Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yag!
Best debut indie game.
Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33.
And since we're about to go into another ad break, I think now's a good time to mention my second candidate for Game of the Year. I may not have played a whole lot of Hollow Knight Silksong, but what I did play was Shadow Labyrinth. Another brutally hard Souls-like Metroidvania cross, but this time with a whole lot of Pac-Man. With a wide and varied map with secrets to find and mazes to conquer, and a story that branches across the galaxy, it is certainly a marked improvement over last year's Yars Rising. You know, a lot of people thought that Divinity statue was meant for a Diablo 4 expansion. Here's a Diablo 4 expansion. Oh, also, Deadpool's being added to Marvel Rivals. I'm honestly shocked that he wasn't in there already. How many times am I gonna have to hear about the James Bond game before you shut up about it? Also, one of the guys from First Light is here to present the award for Best Music. Where is Deltarune? Also,
Laureat Testar.
That's Clair Obscur. And then the Easter Girls come up for Warframe. Again, that's Emma's thing. But this got a chuckle out of me.
Ben Starr will do anything for money.
Lords of the Fallen 2. You know, Souls-likes, they make for great trailers, and then you actually look at the gameplay, and it's dodge, dodge, parry, parry, dodge. If it weren't for the very real and very likely possibility of false positives and false negatives, I would have kept a counter for these kinds of games. Best sports and racing game. Mario Kart World won over Sonic Racing. I mean, I guess price shouldn't be a factor in something like this. Best community support, Baldur's Gate 3, back at it again. Best VR game, I have literally never even heard of any of these. Best RPG,
Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33.
Claire's voice, the one decided entirely by the viewers.
Wuthering Waves as the winner. Congratulations.
Like, I would normally have a huge issue with a fan servicey gacha game winning the player's voice, but when the competition was a turn-based RPG, I'll take anything. Maybe just this once. Oh god! Up next is Saros. It's a third-person shooter, and this guy called it a bullet hell. Now, I'm guilty of calling things bullet hell when they're not scrolling shooters, but it's not a bullet hell unless it's a scrolling shooter. But you want to know it is a scrolling shooter, albeit not a bullet hell? Life Force 3, The Return of the Gradius series. It's okay. Alright, Best Narrative Award.
Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33.
Now, compared to the other awards it's gotten, I'm fine with this one. Like, I'm still a bit iffy on it when Hideo Kojima was in the competition, but I was looking back through my other videos to find where I last mentioned No Man's Sky, and I saw this. This game's called Expedition 33. I nearly cried while watching this trailer. What? What? I need to get this game. What? Now, if you couldn't tell from my befuddlement, it takes a lot to get a tear out of me. So you know what? I might just watch a cutscene movie. Unless there's a mod for it that gives it, like, the ATB system from Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. And now we've got the special guest concert, which thankfully is Evanescence, an actually good band. I'll see you in the afterlife. Save me from this pain. Best multiplayer game. Hold on. Is it? No, it's not, but this is the last chance I'm going to be able to mention it. Sword of the Sea! From the artist behind Journey, this game combines that one's iconic, beautiful, wordless storytelling with the gameplay of Tony Hawk. And I have never played a Tony Hawk game, and I don't think I'll ever need to, because this is better than all of them. So now we have 4 nominations for Game of the Year. Which one's going to win? Stay tuned. It's not Life Force. But yeah, best multiplayer game. The winner was Arc Raiders. I know nothing about that, and I keep hearing things about Peak. We got a new Warhammer game. I swear to God, Warhammer just popped into existence 3 to 5 years ago, and it's somehow already a decades-long franchise with millions of fans. The only thing I care about regarding Warhammer is Space King.
I binge-watched the whole show instead of studying for finals.
Don't get me wrong, I'd love to get into Warhammer, but the tabletop RPG requires friends and money, neither of which I have. The books, there's like 1 million of them, and none of them are a good starting point. No one ever talks about the movie, and every game based on the franchise is either an FPS or an RTS. We're getting a new Ace Combat or a new Star Wars Episode 1 racer. It's hard to make meaningful commentary on things you have absolutely no interest in at all. Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds, Outer Words. Good luck. Miss P's back.
Oh yes, the Game Awards will always let you down.
You could say that again, whoever the hell you are. One Republic did a new song for Arknights. Why do I like this song? I'm not supposed to like pop music. I am supposed to be all metal all the time, and here's One Republic making me tap my toes. What on earth is happening to me? Finally getting more footage of Phantom Blade Zero, and I gotta say, there is a little bit of parrying and dodging, but there's plenty of slashing. Plenty of slashing. There is hope for this game. There is hope. There is hope. And here's Todd Howard. In a twisted sense of irony, he's the one who's going to present the award for Best Game Direction.
Expedition 33.
Another win for this hot garbage. I need something to cheer me up. Hey, look at that, a sci-fi thing.
We'll meet you again.
You know, a bunch of people were saying that they were gonna finally announce Half-Life 3 here. Wouldn't it be funny if it said Mr. Freeman? What? We're getting a new Mega Man. Mega Man 12. Why isn't it called Mega Man 12? And it's not coming out till 2027. Hey, does anyone remember when these games came out like twice a year? But seriously, a new mainline Mega Man game after 7, gonna be 9 years, and they even brought back the Robot Masters. I got this, oh my god. Yeah, I am not a good artist in the slightest, but I am entering this. Although no one's gonna know what my entry was because there is no way in hell I'm letting anyone know what my Twitter account is. And then we've got a new trailer for the Mario Galaxy movie. You know, I don't even think I've seen the last trailer. So here we've got Bowser Jr. as Shadow Mario again. I wonder if he still thinks that Princess Peach is his mama. And we've got one more reveal. A new game from an indie studio of AAA developers that they've been working on for years in complete secrecy. One of the biggest games to ever be announced at the Game Awards. And so all that remains is Game of the Year. Before we do that, let's go over my Game of the Year. Alright, as I said, it's not Life Force 3. It's okay, it's a good game, but by the time I actually got to it, I had already found a much better shoot 'em up, last year's Mirage Feathers. It's an actual 3D bullet hell. How? It's a real shooter. It plays like Space Harrier, but bullet hell. And also Lala Yuri if you're into that. You freak. So that leaves these 3 games. Shadow Labyrinth, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think it's a bit too hard and combat oriented. And Tetris the Grandmaster 4, I know I joked about it being my Game of the Year, but it's just Tetris. Which means my Game of the Year for 2025 is a 2-hour art house indie game. What have I become?
Well, that was ridiculous, but at the same time, that's just what I played. Maybe the Game Awards will offer me something that's a little more reasonable.
So here's our nominees. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Lost to Clair Obscur. Hades 2, Lost to Clair Obscur. Hollow Knight Silksong, Lost to Clair Obscur. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Lost to Hollow Knight Silksong, which Lost to Clair Obscur. So that leaves Clair Obscur and... just get it over with.
And the Game of the Year is... Mon ami, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33!
I've been burping since May, and my porn addiction is still incurable. The latest season of One Punch Man sucks. We're gonna be spending Christmas in an Airbnb, and another turn-based RPG won Game of the Year.
He was right. California did need to be nuked. Should have never left to rebuild. I can do it again. I can do it again! I still have the nuke box. All I have to do is plunge my fist in here.
You can't throw Geno bombs at all your problems!
Oh yeah. You can't solve all your problems just by nuking them. This isn't a problem that can be solved with violence. This is a problem that can only be solved by taking matters into my own hands and making my own game. It's called Impulse, an action RPG that's a mixture between Secret of Mana and Devil May Cry. I haven't written a single line of code for it. All I have right now is this. I cannot draw to save my life.